In Gaza, where every crossing is a risk and every silence feels borrowed, one mother's escape broke through the chaos. A secret US operation, a pause in Israeli airstrikes, and a son in the Navy fighting to save her from half a world away. This is the story of Ahlam Firwana, the Palestinian mother who made it out when almost no one could. In recent weeks, a 59-year-old Palestinian woman, Ahlam Firwana, was quietly evacuated from war-torn Gaza, a rare and complex operation involving the Trump administration, Israeli and Jordanian governments, and a network of American veterans. The Washington Post, which reviewed official correspondence and spoke to those involved, called it a coordinated pause in Israeli airstrikes to allow her safe passage, a momentary stillness in a place otherwise defined by constant bombardment. For Firwana, the path to safety came at a steep price: $10,000 in transportation expenses, advanced tracking software to monitor her movements, and the direct involvement of senior US officials. Her son, US Navy Petty Officer Younis Firwana, 32, was waging a different kind of battle. One fought not on the front lines, but from thousands of miles away to save his mother's life. The Firwana's 7-story home in Gaza had been leveled in 2024, leaving the family destitute. What followed was a desperate struggle for survival as food and medicine grew scarce amid the continuing Israeli offensive. Ahlam's extraction stands as an exception, not the rule. Since the outbreak of war after Hamas's 7 October 2023 assault on Israel, evacuations of US citizens from Gaza have been fraught with red tape and political hesitation. Families with American ties have accused Washington of indifference, even filing lawsuits in December 2023 against the then Biden administration for alleged inaction. But under President Donald Trump, the situation appears to have become even more complicated. In August, the State Department suspended visitor visas for Gazans after far-right commentator Laura Loomer, a figure known to wield influence with Trump despite having no formal role, branded Palestinian arrivals in the US a national security threat. Immigration lawyers say the fallout was immediate. Requests for evacuations, even by the children and spouses of US citizens, were increasingly rejected on security grounds. Younis Firwana's own American dream began in 2023 when he joined the US Navy, hoping that his service would expedite his path to citizenship. He became a naturalized American in February 2024, the same day he graduated from boot camp. But the moment was bittersweet.
They told me to stand beneath a Jordanian flag because the US does not recognize the flag of Palestine.
From his base in California, the young Navy medic began a relentless campaign to bring his family to safety. He applied for expedited processing for all 7 of his relatives, but only his mother's case was approved. Even then, bureaucratic walls stood high. Her passport had expired, and no official seemed willing to take responsibility for escorting her out of Gaza. In early September, a breakthrough came. Younis was connected with the Special Operations Association of America, or the SOIA, a veterans organization that had quietly facilitated the legal evacuation of around 1,100 people from Gaza since the conflict began. Among them was another mother of a US service member. Alex Plitzas, a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council and a member of SOIA, led the charge. He assembled a small elite team, including retired Army Colonel Steve Gabovics, who had served as Chief of Staff for the US Security Coordinator for Israel and the Palestinian Authority between 2001 and 2004. Plitzas also reached out to Morgan Ortagus, Trump's Deputy Special Envoy to the Middle East and a Navy reservist, who connected the group with officials at the US Embassy in Amman. The National Security Council was also quietly informed. While neither the White House nor the State Department offered public comment, one US official told the Washington Post that diplomats in Jordan had gone above and beyond to secure Ahlam's release.
This is an example of the heroic work our Foreign Service officers perform around the world every day.
Behind the scenes, Gabovics leveraged old connections within Israel's military and intelligence services, including the Shin Bet and Mossad, to coordinate a safe route.
They didn't want her to be targeted. We asked for a security buffer to ensure the extraction team wasn't hit.
When Israel intensified its offensive in mid-September and ordered residents to evacuate Gaza City, the rescue plan shifted into overdrive. The veterans group had planned to hire transport to move Ahlam from Gaza City to the Kerem Shalom crossing in the southeast. But paperwork delays forced them to abandon the Israeli escort plan. Instead, her family improvised. One of her sons managed to find a vehicle, and together they began the perilous drive south. But roads were choked with people fleeing the bombardment. When progress became impossible, Ahlam continued on foot with her daughter, walking the last 9 miles under surveillance protection and a temporary pause in airstrikes. It took 19 exhausting hours. On September 17, 2025, Plitzers sent a brief message to his team that summed up months of effort. She's out! The extraordinary rescue, however, only underscores the near impossibility of safe passage for thousands of others. Lawyer Maria Kari, who represents several Palestinian American families, called Ahlam's case both heartening and troubling. The US government shows deference to military families, but on a wholesale level, it's made clear that it doesn't care about Palestinian lives, even when they are American lives. In emails reviewed by the Post, the US Embassy in Jerusalem cited national security concerns as justification for denying assistance. For now, Ahlam Firwana waits in Jordan for her visa approval. Her son hopes to reunite with her soon, even as the rest of his family remains in Gaza's ruins.
That means a lot that these guys care about my family. I'm not alone.
But his gratitude is tempered by frustration at the extraordinary measures required to save a single life.
The US should be doing more than this.
For every Ahlam who makes it out, there are countless others still waiting, caught in the crossfire of war, politics, and policy. Her story is a glimmer of hope and a reminder of how rare mercy has become in Gaza.